about tonight?
Getting a divorce.
Wow, now that is what I call a sticky situation. Wow, Bitcoin is currently on the brink, guys. If Bitcoin breaks out of this pattern, what could happen? What are the targets that we could go to? We talked about specific targets yesterday, but we have a lot more to add on to that, guys. Things could get absolutely wild. As well, Bitcoin right now back inside this potential triangle, and guys, it's retesting this structural line that goes all the way back to the beginning of this drop, guys. Back in the middle of March, what is going to happen? And as well, Bitcoin's still currently above the 21-day moving average on the daily chart. And again, this is actually a very key area we talked about yesterday. We're still quite above this area, but what this pullback means, guys, and we want to look at one more pullback area. Specifically on the weekly chart, we talked about 64 being so important, but let's take a look at something else. And in a crazy turn of events, the CEO of BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, thinks that we could go back into the $3,000 range and then back above $20,000 per Bitcoin all within the next 8 months. Wow, if that doesn't get your juices flowing, then maybe you've been watching too many dirty videos. Guys, let's skippity-doo-dah into this video. Wow, what's going on, my chungalongas? Welcome back to another extremely exciting late night Saturday update, guys. So many things going on. Again, we're still on the brink. As we talked about in yesterday's video, we hope that this weekend is pretty boring. We don't want to see too much price action over the next 24 hours, and so far so good. It looks as though Saturday might be kind of boring. Hopefully tomorrow can do something similar, and we have some very specific price targets, guys, that we have to get into. And as well, guys, I did want to let you know, we are actually doing a giveaway for one of these ledgers. Winner picked at the end of the weekend. All you have to do is go to this tweet and retweet this tweet and do what the tweet says. Wow, awesome. And we're still giving away ledgers on this channel as well, guys. All you have to do is leave a comment below. Make sure to smash the likes, hit the dings, hit the comments, and wow, let's jump on into this. Wow, we have an exciting story that we need to get into here, guys. This is huge. Published on Bitcoinist by Arthur Hayes. Absolutely insane. What an exciting 8 months. So many things coming down to the wire. And let's actually talk about this chart first. Here on the weekly chart, guys, this huge amount, this is actually about 38 months, okay? Over 3 years worth of data and volume here. The 6400 is key, but then, guys, if we actually take a look at this again, this massive amount right around like the $3,800 to $4,000, if we're going to get a low, I think that's potentially the very absolute worst case scenario, the lowest we could go. Unfortunately for some of you guys, I don't think we'll ever see $1,000 or $2,000 or even the low $3,000 range ever again. I think at the very lowest, and I want to explain this situation specifically on the downside, because even the most bearish of the bulls and the most bullish of the bears are thinking that if we would dip down to these levels, guys, still by the end of this year, we could easily see new all-time highs. Very exciting stuff. So basically what that means, guys, you have to buckle in, strap on, because this year could be absolutely bananas. Specifically, one scenario I want to talk about before we really dive into the meat and tomatoes of the video and the charts here is this. We've been saying this actually about a few weeks, but it's still a possibility if we would form a double bottom like we saw it back here, okay? We saw that here. If we saw something back and we come back to the 200, guys, that would be fine. That would be perfect. That would be like the $5,600 area. So we could get a double bottom there by only going back down to about 5,600 US dollars, which is only about $1,000 from where we currently are. A little over $1,000. So if we would get a pullback, which it very much looks like it could be the case, okay, because there's the bullish scenario where we don't even go lower, but I personally think the most bullish scenario right now is actually 64, and we'll get into that, but specifically 56 could be another very good pullback area, and we have it on this chart as well. This is one we've had on here for weeks, guys. You're familiar with this, I'm sure. 56 could actually be an amazing pullback area, amazing pullback zone for Bitcoin over the next week or two, because as we talked about in yesterday's video as well, we definitely think there could be one more significant downside move before we absolutely skyrocket, guys. I think that we could easily pass all-time highs by the late summer of this year. So maybe July, August. I think it's very realistic. With that being said, we also have to account, guys, there still could be more downside in the immediate future. We're talking about within the next 1 or 2 months max. There definitely could be some downside. And if we're going to get some downside, that is most likely when we'll get the downside. So that begs the question, is this the last opportunity to get extremely cheap Bitcoin and altcoins before a mega boom blast off? Very possible. Who knows? Very much up for debate, but guys, that could very much be the case. Wow, now that's exciting. Now, if we actually switch over to the 4-hour here on Bitfinex, guys, we're actually ending. We're in that danger zone that we've been saying, this red line. We're currently getting a little bounce from there, but we're definitely in danger zone right now. Now, this looks like it wants to break out. So again, it's very possible this could be the scenario. I definitely think that if we're going to get downside over the next 2 months, we could be seeing it very shortly. So prepare yourselves for that. After getting rejected in this little corner right here, guys, getting pushed back into here. Again, one of the scenarios is we could bounce, but again, I'm much more inclined to think that it makes more sense right now that we get one final pullback and one macro test of a low before we continue higher, guys. The Bitcoin halving is literally exactly like 30 days away from now. Okay, we're a month away from the Bitcoin halving, and as everybody knows, after the Bitcoin halving, things go absolutely crazy. If you guys are familiar with the stock to flow, there's no doubt in my mind that that's going to continue, and we could easily see $100,000 Bitcoin sometime before this time next year. I think things could be absolutely wild, but before that does happen, we do need to brace ourselves because we could see more downside. Again, there's always the possibility that the moves we're seeing now are it, and we just continue higher from here. But I want to take a look specifically on the downside targets, what makes the most sense. And for that, we can go here, guys. This is the one downside chart we've had up. As we were saying a few weeks ago, the 5,400, again, would be absolutely crucial. I think that's one of the biggest areas, and specifically the very lowest, like 5,000. But again, pointing your attention back to the weekly chart, guys, the 5,600, I think is just going to be very strong. It's where the 200 weekly moving average is, where we found our bottom after 2 touches back at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, and then went absolutely nuts. So we had a similar thing. I'm not going to show you guys this again because I've already shown it multiple times, but we've actually had double bottoms in the past as well, right here, before rallying into halvings and rallying into bull markets for Bitcoin. So another test here could very much be the case. And specifically, I don't see Bitcoin going down into that $3,000 area again. And if it did, it would have to be, we've already seen that. We actually did see that go into the 3,000 and it immediately wicked back up, which is something we were saying. If it was going to go into that level, it would have to be a very quick wick back up, which it in fact was a very quick wick. You can see this massive wick here, and about half the wick was not even part of the candle. It was just half of it was a wick, half of it was a candle. So a very quick bounce there. So we've already dipped our toes down into there, which makes me think it's possible that we've already got our low. And if we're going to see more downside, 5,600 might be like the lowest that we could go. Okay, so that's really important to take a look at there. I think that's probably what makes the most sense. Playtime is absolutely over. So that's really important to watch there. And I'm just waiting to see if this breaks. This is what I have my chart mainly on right here. If this breaks, then we could see a move. But again, I'm also watching so much for the 64. I think it's going to be very strong. We have the 21-day moving average right here acting as support. We haven't gone below it, guys. And the longer we consolidate, because right now the bears have the momentum. The bears have had the momentum for about 5 days now. Rejecting right here, that's all just adding to the bearish momentum. They're gaining more and more power, and right now they're just trying to push it down as much as they can. So if we can stabilize, that's not a bad thing. Right now the bears are on offense, the bulls are on defense, as opposed to where we were completely on offense here in the bullish zone. So now we really have to see if the bears have what it takes to push us back below 6,000 and potentially all the way down to 56, and even at the lowest, maybe even 5,000 US dollars. Now, guys, I think this is important to note. The CEO of BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, says this. He predicts a total collapse of the USD, saying the US is the only country that can depreciate its currency to the degree necessary to continue to generate economic activity. Basically, what he's saying, if you print too much money to monetize your government debt, your currency craters and your inflation runs rampant. At that point, the Jacobins enter the street and you better not be munching on a cake. I have no idea what that means. All of the global chaos in a financial meltdown will eventually swing the pendulum to Bitcoin, he says. The hardest form of digital money could not be better, meaning Bitcoin. So he definitely is betting on Bitcoin there. But he says here, could the price retest 3,000? Absolutely. As the SPX rolls over and tests 2,000, expect all asset classes to puke again, okay? We have that potential, but he also says this, despite him saying that, he thinks that he still stands behind the previous call of a year Bitcoin price of $20,000 or higher there. Basically, he thinks Bitcoin and gold are the best things to be holding on to right now. So that's absolutely bonkers. Let me know what you guys think below. What is your low target, okay? Because it's very clear that Bitcoin could continue pushing down. That's obviously momentum for the past 5 days or so. What do you think the low target is? And guys, I'll be honest, even some bearish people, what they're doing, they're calling for downside, but they're also saying that we could easily be breaking all-time highs still in this year, okay, within the next 8 months, most likely before December of this year. So that's absolutely wild. So guys, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next webisode.